I've recently become an empty nester, and I have this room all to myself. It's got some of my stuff in it. I've been just dumping stuff in there that doesn't have a place in the other rooms, and it's also got a few things left over. Well, what do we do when we get this situation? We've got an empty room all to ourselves. Now, what are we going to do with it? Let's do this together. We can declutter, we can decorate, and we can make this room something to be loved and lived in. I've been decluttering for the last 10 years, I think, and I feel like I'm sort of an expert, so follow along with me. Just like a cluttered mind, a cluttered room can leave you feeling overwhelmed, not knowing where to start. I feel stuck. It's like I'm all kind of, where do I start? I feel drained before I even move a finger. So the first thing you need to do is write a plan. Go ahead, go and get a pen and paper and I'll wait. The first thing to ask yourself is, how do I want to use this room? For me, this room is a room where I want to have my hobbies. I want to store my craft supplies. I want to be able to sit at the computer and work on my vlog. So it could be different for you, but write down, how do you want to use this room before you even start? Next, you might ask yourself, what is the purpose of this room? Why do I have it? For me, I have such a small living space that I need to have a place where I can keep everything and store it when I'm not using it. So I can just work on a project and leave it there until I decide to come back to it. And it's not getting in the way of my dining space or my other living areas. Once you've written all three of those things down, write out your plan. How do you want to use this room? What is the purpose of this room? How are you visualizing yourself in this room? This room is a work in progress, but I'm going to divide it into 4 zones. In this zone, I have the closet and craft storage. Over here, I have the bed. Over here is the desk area. You may have more zones than 4, which we'll talk about that in a minute. And then over here I have more storage. It's a cabinet. Now over here, and you can do your floor plan this way too if that helps, I've got the window. And I want privacy. Over here, I need some lighting. And I found a hook in the ceiling that I can make some lighting. And right here I have a bed. And that's for guests. And that's easy. This is the easy area because I can make that bed. I've got a little bed skirt to put on it, and I can get that ready first thing and have it ready for if someone comes by for a visit or if I just want to take a nap. The window is my priority because I want privacy. And lighting, for me, is going to have the most impact. So those are the three things that I'm going to focus on before I do much of anything else. So the first thing you want to do is declutter the room, get rid of everything. Take anything out that you're not going to have in the room. Donate, put in another area of the house where you know it'll have a good home, or throw it out if it's just clutter. Then the next thing you're going to do is place all the large pieces of furniture that you know are going to stay in the room. Now, I'm going to take a month to get through this process. So this is part one right here. This is part two. Now, I've got my sewing station right here. So I'm going to combine this with the storage area. And this will be part three. And maybe I'll combine that with part four. I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to go through 4 weeks of getting this room put together. If you want to follow along with me, please subscribe. The next thing to ask yourself is, what are my priorities for this room? What excites me about this room, and what gets me excited when I think about how I'm going to use this room? Write those down. The next thing to do is visualize how you want to use this room. Now, it might help to pull pictures from magazines of how you want the room to look, or put up a Pinterest board on how you want different items that you need in the room. Like if you already know you have a bed in there, then maybe you want to do something with the bed or the desk or the sewing area or extra craft storage. So get clear on the purpose of the room and how you want to use it, and see yourself actually in the room and using it, and that will give you a better perspective. There's 3 ways that you can get started. Number 1, you can start with what's easiest. Probably not the best situation, but once you've answered all of these questions, what is the most important thought that keeps coming up in your mind? For me, it was privacy. I needed some type of privacy in this room because every time I walked past the door, I felt like somebody could be looking in. So I wanted something to give me that sense of security and privacy when I was in the room. And I've got those vertical blinds, which not everybody's a fan of. I keep them in for darkening the room, but I wanted something that still let the light in and still offered me an element of security and privacy. You can start with the zone that will have the most impact and is like a priority. For me, it's lighting. I need to have good lighting in here because right now I don't have enough lighting in here to make me want to come in here after it gets dark because the room's too dark and I can't really get anything accomplished. I hope you enjoyed this video. We're doing a little bit of decorating, decluttering, and reconfiguring this room. Now there's a couple of other tips that I have if you'd like to try them. If you're really having a hard time getting started with the overwhelm, you can go into each room, each corner of the room, and clap over the piles of junk. I've got a big pile right over there in the corner. I'll show it to you. Right over there. That is an area that I would definitely clap out because it's got a lot of stagnant energy sitting right over there. The other thing that you can do is, have you ever talked to the room? Now, I know a lot of us talk to ourselves, so it's like we have two people inside of us. Like, here I am, I'm the person that's, this body that's walking around. And sometimes there's somebody talking to me, and you've probably heard this before. You have this other, like, oversoul that's talking to you all the time. Like when you say, note to self. Who's telling you to put that note to the self? And who is the self? I'm the self, and who's giving me that note? I mean, why can't I give me that note? Does that make sense? For me, it was, I got an intuition saying, you should go and check out Eco Thrift because there might be a stand mixer there that you can pick up. And it was there. So you've got this self in the body, and you've got the self that is, maybe you want to call it your soul self. But you also have a spirit of the house, and you can talk to the spirit of the room. So if you want to say, first get really quiet and in a very serene place, and say, room, what is it that I need to do here? What do you want me to do with this room? And an answer might come. If it does, write it down. You might write the question, room, or you might draw a picture of the room and put it in a chair across from you and say, room, what is the purpose of this space and how am I to use it? Is there any certain color that I should think about when doing this room? Well, the same worked for me, like with my Pinterest board. I just added things to my Pinterest board that I liked, and it turned out I had all these green things that came up. So I realized that I needed to add more green into the room. Now, do you see this little dresser right here? This is one that's going to get done. That's going to be my next project. And I've got this picture that I just picked up at a thrift store, and it's a original painting from a woman from Sacramento, California. She's no longer with us, she's passed away. But then I found this IKEA frame also there and painted it this beautiful kind of teal green color because I like that color so much. And this is going to go in the room. And then when I got this, and what you want to do is when you see something you like, don't examine too hard where it's going to go or how you're going to use it. Just get it, because chances are your other self is looking out for you. When I got this picture, brought it home, and realized that I had these two Ralph Lauren single flat sheets. And look at how beautiful those work together, those colors. So what I'm going to do is make a duvet for the bed with the two sheets, which will be in a future video. The other thing, I had this fabric for a long time. You can see it's got these greens in it. This is going to be my window treatment, so I'm going to be making a valance for this. And you'll see that in a future video, in one of the next of the 3. So I hope you like the video. If you have any questions for me, please list them below. If you're struggling to get over the overwhelm, then try a few of those techniques that I just gave you and see how they work out. Thanks for watching.